Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the BKB National Wool Market Report with Job Tagliard and with myself. Job, welcome.
No, Leon, I'm good.
I think, as you just said, maybe we need a holiday before each auction week, because we had an excellent week.
It was a bumper of a day. It was a long day, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I think still going on as we're speaking. I think we'll probably only be ending after 5 o'clock, half past 5.
With the brokers, yeah, the rest of the brokers still selling them.
So it's still selling. But we've just after the wool market report, we will continue where we left last week with Jaco Maas, the General Manager of Shift, to find out what the fourth industrial revolution is and what opportunities there are. So we'll just continue where we left last week. But before we get to that, let's have a look what happened in the market. We had a bigger auction than last week, about 10,300 bales on offer, and the same with the Aussies. They also had quite a big auction.
50,000 bales that they offered, and what is good is I see it's 91% sold.
That's excellent.
Well, excellent, yeah.
And we're going to be close to 91% ourselves.
Yeah.
Our early market indicators show an increase on all micron groups, on all types of descriptions. So we had a good auction. I think the 20 to 21 micron range did exceptionally well, and a lot of them had 5% increases on
5% jumps. Yeah. This is the beginning of the mediums starting to closing the gaps, the medium micron groups. Even down to the micro merinos, we've seen them picking up.
And we've been waiting for that quite a while now, with the finer end of the spectrum and the medium to broader end, the gap just widening and widening and widening. And so we've been waiting for a while now for the mediums to pick up a little bit. And as you said, hopefully this is the turning point.
This is the turning point. Yeah. Well, again, the 18.5 and finer, they had a runaway day. Yeah. Right down to the locks. We've seen an excellent market on that, yeah.
I think the fact that the rand didn't strengthen any further against the US dollar also helped us that the market came to its full potential. So we didn't have the exchange rate issue. The rand stayed around about the same as it were last week. So that helped us a little bit to get to the market's potential.
Yeah, no, that is more of a confidence for the buyer. So it's not another factor that he needs to build in that can affect the wool price. So it's a stable market.
Yeah. Our certified sustainable wool, I think it still kept its premium. Maybe the feeling I got, it was a little bit better last week. We still had good premiums, but it eased a little bit last week. But I think it went full on this week. So
it actually became clear today that your well prepared, sound and good quality wools, it's got a premium on it.
Yeah.
With the RWS mark on it, it's excellent. You can see when that clip starts, when they start bidding on it, it's just a total different market.
And I think that's the difference between our own wool and classing standards versus the Aussies. Is the fact that our wool are classed at the next level.
Well prepared, well
classed wool.
And we've always been known for it.
Yeah.
And I think with the RWS now we're getting recognition on that.
Yeah.
Like the client said this morning, now he can see that he's getting recognition for his well prepared clip, and he can be proud of it.
Yeah, and I think that's what all of our producers is working to just get the recognition for hard work done.
That's so good, yeah.
The Aussie market traded there by about 1.5%, but I think we might come close to 3% there compared to last week.
Yeah, I think the Aussies with 50,000 offering, they've got a lot of old wool, not so well prepared. It's still the drought clips that's coming through.
So it's a bunch of wool with not good length and strength tests, so maybe a little bit lower than the NKTs, and so it didn't test as well.
As well, yeah. So yes, your good quality wools will always sell, and it's always in demand.
Currently, we're trading 11.5% higher compared on a year-to-year base. So yeah, I'm glad to see that that gap is gradually also starting to widen, and that the market is getting to its potential where we hope it can be and where we think it should be.
Yeah, we should break the 160 market indicator tonight.
Yeah, I think but we're just over 160.
And that's a sound place to be.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The buyers again, the three top buyers who came through were Moriano, Standard Wool and La Prayer. So three top buyers who came through again today. With Standard Wool buying three of the most expensive lots, and Moriano also bought one of the most expensive lots. So all three of them came in, especially on the finer side.
On the finer side, yeah.
Strong into the finer side.
Gert Smit from Vrede got 200 Rand and 60 cents for his one bale of CFH, 16.4 micron. You can see anything that's fine, super fine. It doesn't matter what the length is. It's big in demand.
Yeah, as Stefan Ravenheimer from Somerset who got the second highest price with the CFFY of 15.4 micron. So a little bit shorter than the third and the fourth place. Actually, than the third, the fourth also a C length. So
also a C length. Yeah,
so we have in the top four places we have C lengths for the day. So
yeah, no, it's you can't expect it that it's going to be long haul to get the biggest price.
Yeah,
it's the micron that's counted at the moment.
Yeah,
it's the super fine sale.
The micron good sound wool with a good
well prepared. That's the bottom line. Yeah.
Sean Hobson of Janssen Bull with one BH bale, 16.1 micron, sold 197.30 to Moriano. Well done, Sean.
Yeah, it's good to see Moriano coming in on the finer side as well. Yeah.
So basically, we'll be probably going out to Europe from Moriano. So yeah, that's good to see.
Yeah, that's excellent. We know that Europe has been quiet.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign if they start coming back.
Yeah.
That could be a sign, yeah.
And then in fourth place, Swarshoek Berg Boerdery, Billy Jordan, one CL bale of 16.8 micron, and he sold it for 196. Well done, Billy, with a beautiful prepared lot there, CL bale.
Excellent. So, what are we looking at next week? Yeah, the 5th of May, the next auction. It will be a smaller sale than this.
Yeah. And I think as we've spoken just prior to the recording, a smaller sale. So yeah, let's see. But I think on the Aussie side, again, they'll put in quite a lot of wool. They have that older stock that they're putting into the market.
To move, yeah.
So our own will be a little bit smaller one. But yeah, let's see. So hopefully we can keep up the tendency that we had today.
And the levels, that's the important thing. We want to keep these levels. Even if you're looking at the unchanged market next week, that'll be good.
That will be good. So on the 5th of May, again, we'll have an auction, and just after the auction, we will be ready with the market report. Have a good evening.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Before the interview, you talked about 5 current market trends that's surrounding us at this stage. The first 2 of them, I think, were is absolutely what we're talking about now. We're changing consumer preferences and product safety and transparency. If you could maybe elaborate a little bit around those 2 and how did BKB as a company embrace specifically those 2 in the past in the past year.
Leon, if I can, with all I usually like to look around me and see how people are embracing this technology. Now, if you look at consumer trends, the best person to usually look at is how your wife go to the shop and how she. These days, you see people walking around in shelves with their hand in their hand a cell phone and checking out recipes. and having the ability to find out, where did the products come from. It's usually interesting when I ask my wife to say, if I take up 2 bags of apples, and in if I had the ability to tell you that this bag of apples was produced last year in February versus this bag of apples that was produced this year in January, how does that change your buying behavior? So the consumers these days have a trend to have more healthier, they want to have a choice. You see, so they want healthier, functional food that they know. And, all of us are parents here. We want to give food to our kids that we know is safe.
Absolutely.
Let's look at what happened with listeriosis a couple of years back.
Yeah.
The polonies were killing. I know we were all making very cool jokes about it. The polonies were killing people. There's a few. I think there was about 200 people that lost their lives because of listeriosis. What happened to the industry? Because they couldn't trace it back to source. All of the polonies were pulled off. We went into the BKBs and into the Woolworths and Checkers, and there was nothing there was no polonies because they couldn't pinpoint the risk. Now, we first knew that we needed to really pursue the blockchain solution as something to pinpoint risk was when we had foot and mouth disease, and we spoke to the wool industry, the wool buyers, as well as the brokers, and we explained how this blockchain technology can then be utilized to pinpoint. At that stage, when we were talking to them in February 2019, I think, we had the foot and mouth disease problem. So, as we now have these types of technology to pin it back, then we, as the industry, should not, in the future ever, if all the boats are on the blockchain, should not have the problem where they need to say, we need to lock down the country because we couldn't. No. The foot and mouth was, I think, very much regionally. It was in a specific area.
It was in a specific area.
Although the Western Cape also suffered, but the foot and mouth came from the northern parts of the countries. We should not have that problem if we have a blockchain solution.
In the meat industry, is it Argentina that's got 2 abattoir lines in the abattoir. If it's been affected, the area, immediately go on line B.
Yeah.
So they've got the main line running smoothly out of the clean areas, call it clean areas.
But now the question is, do you trust it? So?
Let's bring it back to wool, a wool clip.
Yeah.
The one that's not traceable.
Yes.
There'll always be a market for it.
Yes.
You will always have all the olden.
But I think it's about the consumer having the choice. And we spoke about consumer trends. We need to give the consumer wants to have the freedom to choose. Am I going to pay a premium for something that I know? You spoke about the RWS. RWS is all about how do we sustainably grow wool? How do we sustainably make sure that the animals are not being harmed, that they got their 5 freedoms all intact? Now, as you say, somebody don't necessarily want to pay that premium for the fact that somebody is most probably happy with the fact that animals did not go through that standard. But let's give the consumer the ability to choose. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts from what's happening in the US, and in the meat side, what they did in Walmart, they changed that whole marketing thing around where they gave the consumer the ability to choose. They still have their conventional food, conventional meat, but then they've got this traceable meat that is antibiotics free, with proven that this comes from the veld. So our farmers that sometimes have it a little bit difficult getting animals off a veld that was not inoculated, but they are all organic. They need to get a premium for this, and this is what this product should allow them to do.
And I think to bring it back to the wool industry again, purely on traceability on the wool bale. In theory, we have traceability on we have a producer number assigned to each one of the producers, and there's an address allocated to that producer number. So in theory, we can trace it down to the farm, but then we were talking about the trust within the system. Now, if we put the RFID tag on the bale, and it's been scanned in with the app, and we will launch those bales in I'm not sure, but in the near future those bales will be available in the market. So then you have geolocation for that specific bale from origin.
Yes.
So then it's then we have trust in the sustainability program.
And I would say
traceability program.
traceability, and that would open up more markets.
Yes, definitely.
It's not just the current markets that will be consuming it. It will be new markets, it's new trends.
Yeah.
So, and that is the advantage to the producer.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, on those type of people, those new markets would definitely pay a premium on those.
Yeah. Well, I think how do we classify certain farmers that does a little bit more than the other one?
Yeah.
He needs to be compensated for the fact that he looked better after his sheep than another guy. And this is what this technology brings. It brings the ability for a farmer that says, I'm just going that little bit of extra mile. But when I go to the auction, I am judged as the guy that has just been doing the conventional stuff.
Yeah.
And I think this is what I've learned over my 11 years at BKB and now driving Shift too. You know, we've got some awesome farmers, guys that does unbelievable stuff. And we need to tell the story of our farmers. We need to tell, and what better way there is by utilizing this type of technology to tell the story of the South African farmer and how they are looking after their sheep.
Jaco, we've touched on two of the market trends. There's three left, and within one of it would be nice if we could maybe just because that's something that has affected the wool industry over the past 2 years, and it were mainly on trading, on the Chinese American trade wars that's happening, and that's part of the three remaining market trends. If you could maybe quickly touch on them.
I think those trends go about asset productivity.
Yeah.
So how do we look at the asset, the underlying asset, and how does the asset move? And the asset being a bale of wool, or it can be a sheep, and how does it actually then move through the value chain? So that goes in hand in hand with labor. We talk about the fourth industrial revolution and having the ability, for instance, to do 3D printing. 3D printing and all of these types of technology bring certain opportunities to the farmer where he most probably is going to do less of a certain type of labor. A lot of people think that technology is going to take, people are going to lose their work because of it. That's not the case. If you look at companies like, I think Johnson & Johnson, they've digitalized their business, but they have not employed less people. You need to train them in new skills. Now, I know I'm a little bit off topic here, but if you look at the Department of Education in the Western Cape, they've put in 5 RFID scales, where they are teaching the kids how to work with RFID on the farms. So they know that precision farming is the future. And this is what we're actually talking about. We're talking about precision farming. So the precision farming is the future. So the Department of Education is investing in scales, investing in the RFID technology so that they can bring up kids that can go out in the economy and help the farmer be productive. So this is so cool because this is where we are now starting to utilize technology, training new skills that is coming out of the schools that can help our farmers be more productive.
And absolutely, I think that's if we can allocate a lifetime productivity index on a specific EU, the chances are, you have big possibilities.
I think that's where your brand selection would come in excellent. The guys is paying big prices for rams these days. Wool prices are what it is average, but we see big prices last year.
The way we're going to be selecting our ewes, going to be selecting our offspring is going to change.
But just think about it. Yeah. You talk about asset productivity. You know, somebody else had this analogy the other day. If you were driving around on your farm and there was a couple of ewes here on this side, how much income does this specific EU bring to you versus that one on the other side? What do we really know about productivity of our assets and how we're utilizing it? And I think the technology, RFID technology, blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, analytics tools now allows us not necessarily to touch each animal, but have the ability to collect this information, analyze this, and then present it back to our client or our farmer to say, how do I be more productive? There's such a lot of opportunities in this industry still available by being just smart farming.
Well, they're gonna determine your selecting points that you're gonna actually select them on.
At this stage,
you're gonna produce direct for the market. That's what it comes down to.
At this stage, we can put economic value on a ewe at the end of a life cycle, so we can select offspring according to that. But now with RFID at 2 years, 3 years, we know exactly what the productivity is, what the income is, what part she plays within the herd. So it's quite easy to get rid of the ones that.
But in order to do that, you need to identify each individual animal. You cannot have this. I've got these 30 that is marked. 200. And I'm having. You can't. You need to have each individual
in the flock. Yeah.
Yeah, we when on that citrus farm which I was on when I started off, we had the ability by applying micro elements to the citrus tree. We had the ability to change the texture of the skin of the citrus that goes into a specific market. So if the Chinese want something that is nice and shiny, we can give that tree. That is 20 years ago. Where are we if you talk about genetics? Where are we with animals and really manipulating our animals to give a specific texture of wool or more meat? This is the opportunity. This is the time now, guys. This is exciting things.
And I think we're spending a lot of money on genomics and all of that, and it's a beautiful concept. But with RFID and evaluating each animal on its own merit, I think we're going to do take huge steps within a short while. It's possible.
But I think, Leon, to add to one of the other trends is also a company that is taking these types of things and doing things with them.
And I think is doing something. Yeah.
This I think anybody needs to give credit to BKB. It's a 100-year-old business that says, I don't understand these things. I know it's difficult. I know it's complex. As I'm trying to explain to Jacques, how do I take these types of technologies now? Because I know it's going to have an impact on my client, and it's most probably going to have a major impact on my business. How do I utilize these technologies rather than just putting my hand in the sand and say, my head in the sand and say, I don't acknowledge this? This is one of the trends. You need to look at the businesses that says, I am embracing this technology and I'm trying to bring this to my farm. And I think therefore we need to give a lot of credit for this business that's saying, we do think this is going to have a major impact on us.
Jaco, I think digital transformation is something you've been very involved with over the past few years. And how does it impact the way we do business, and how does it impact the customer, specifically the customer experience with BKB? Because I think customer experience is something that we not frequently we don't talk enough about, but we have all of these beautiful technologies, and how will it influence BKB's customer experience?
I think the first thing we need to talk about digital transformation. People think that when we start talking about digital transformation, we are going to become a company that talks to our clients through an app or through a Zoom call, or we are going to be removed from that. This is not the case. This is not the case with digital transformation. Digital transformation does not say we are not going to touch our client anymore. We are not going to have that personal relationship of which we were very proud of for the past 100 years.
Absolutely.
But when we have that relationship, we need to know that that relationship is now on a different level. So digital transformation. So let's talk about digitalization. Digitalization is taking this piece of paper and turn it into information. So now I've got something that's physical and I've turned it into information. Digitalization is how do my business now change because of this? Do I print less? Do I don't have less more? I don't have a printer in my office anymore. In the offices, for instance, we don't have telephone headsets anymore because we are now all talking through Microsoft's new Teams types of calls. That is digitalization. Digital transformation, if you start making that and saying, okay, how do I change my business for the better? How do I start changing business processes? Now, this is the thing that I need to say about the South African farmer. I've been very fortunate in 2019 to visit Romania, and I've been in Europe, and I've been in the United States, specifically in the agricultural thing. The South African farmer is street ahead in terms of digital transformation. And the only thing that I can get from that, the reason why, and if I start saying the South African farmer is far ahead with digital transformation, you really need to start just think about it and then look around on the farm and see how you're actually being utilizing technology. The only thing that I can think why that is because we haven't been subsidized. And I think what is going to happen from COVID, that's my view, and I've seen this. I've seen that there was an article in December in The Economist where these subsidized countries, because of the COVID relief funds, they are now starting to have a lot of pressure to still finance a farmer that is actually being unproductive. So for me, it's exciting times for the South African farmer because they have competed in an international market without a subsidy. This should now leverage us, really catapult us actually. COVID is going to catapult the South African farmer if we do it right. Catapult us into be a really productive, profitable contributor into an international market.
I think with this system, it's not to say that you're going to lose the small farmer.
Yes. No. In fact, not.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And the pause, any new thing, new trends, you would lose the smaller farmer.
Yes.
But with this guy, you're actually going to hold him. Yeah. And he's going to market his wool the same way.
Yes.
He just needs to...
More opportunities is going to be unlocked. I was in Namibia last year, and they've got, of course, the livestock identification system in Namibia. Otherwise, they can't export to South Africa. So all of the animals in Namibia has an RFID tag, and once again, we're back at RFID. But just if you see how the opportunities has been unlocked, we were in Grootfontein at the auction where 95% of 3,000 cattle were emerging farmers' cattle. And because each one had a tag, it's the same as our emerging farmers where they have 3 or 4 or 5 cattle. But because they had a tag in, each individual animal could be identified to an individual, grouped together so that the buyer buys a lot of 90 animals, but pay it out individually. You can only do that if you've got an individual animal. So exactly, John, this gives you actually opportunity to start doing these guys.
To pull them up. There always be that 2 or 5 bale clips.
Yes.
But you want to move them up to a 30 bale clip.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And price is the only thing that'll pull that up,
Sure. Jaco, thanks a lot. I think on that positive note, let's leave it here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Jaco, appreciate your time.